Good to be back. How are you all? I just need one thing at the moment, and that would be the little thing that you press. That would be good. But in the absence of that, let's see if we can put up a slide. So what would I like to talk to you about today? Briefly, we're going to talk a bit about medical sensors and mobile devices. And we're also going to have a quick peek at today's GSS 2011 social network map. So some of you have been out there tweeting, and I want to thank the SPA-equipped people for alleviating my bit anemia now that we have Wi-Fi in the room. I'm sure you'll all be tweeting a lot more, and tomorrow's map will even be better. I'll come down and grab that. Thanks. Thank you. So let's take a look at that map. Let's see. It's on the next page. There we go. Some of you are on this map. And indeed, what we see is that our number one is the Global SPA Summit account. But who's number two? Whoop, don't do that. Who's number two? That's Liz. Hello, Liz. You are the most influential person other than GSS itself. You connect to more of the other people in this room than any other person. And then there's the ranked list of the other people who have been tweeting. Their faces or profile photos are there in the display. And there's a line connecting them to anybody else that they either replied to, mentioned, or follow in Twitter. And we can be making these maps every day for any brand to get an insight into who's at the center of your brand's conversation, or the conversation about your competitors' brands. So let's see if we can come up with a couple of different key words for today's presentation. Social sensors, devices, gamification, and augmented reality. Gamification, that's the one I'll end with. What I'm interested in showing you is that there is a real sea change in the nature of this device. This is not a phone. Anybody who ever tried to talk on it knows it's not really a phone, is it? What it is a medical sensor device. It knows when I'm moving it. It knows if I'm wearing it, and I usually wear it next to my heart, and you wonder, why isn't it listening? Well, the next version will. So it knows when I'm moving, it knows when I'm still. There's a product now out there that you stuff it under your pillow. You can use these devices to really track you better than you track yourself. And there's a group out there, if you want to find them on the web, they're at quantifiedself.org. The Quantified Self is a group of people in Silicon Valley. They're kind of the overlap of the chronically ill, the obsessive compulsive, and the geeky. And so these are people who are keeping detailed records of their own physical health and wellness, and they're using a variety of devices to track this, and they're looking for correlations between their behavior and their well-being. Here, of course, is one of the flagship products in that space, the Fitbit, Fitbit.com, $99 US. You clip it to you. You can wear it when you sleep. It's an accelerometer. And when you walk near your computer, it jumps all the data off of the little clip and into your computer, tracking how much you've been active today. My battery died. It didn't matter because I'm not active. But this device is an example. Here's the Body Bug. It's an armband. You wear it, and it tracks your activity and your blood pressure and your heart rate and respiration and that kind of thing, and it syncs it to your iPhone and then back to a website. There's a theme here. Runkeeper. You're running along, and it's tracking how fast you're going, how long you go, whether you did better this run than last run, and key to this theme, it socializes your performance. It tells your friends. It'll even tweet, Marc has just run 4.5 kilometers, see my run, click here. I have never run 4.5 kilometers, but you get the idea. This is, of course, the Nike plus iPod application. You put this in your shoe, you put it on your iPhone, and it tracks how rapidly you've been running. And it then, again, socializes this. Like Runkeeper, it shares this with other people. Why would you want to do that? Because you want the encouragement from other people to keep you at it. And if people notice that you haven't done it and you know that they'll notice, you might decide to get up and do it. The other theme is competition. Humans, little competitive. little competitive, the humans are. And so when you see that somebody else has gone out and done a run and gotten ahead of you in the total mileage, you may actually want to go out and do a run too. Let's see, then there's body media. These guys also have the armband, and look at what they're trying to pitch to their market. Goodbye guesswork, hello weight loss. And the idea is that you could actually track your weight loss and activity while just doing housework or that kind of thing. Again, to encourage you to be more active. And so the theme here is that machines are beginning to watch us. Can we not have that there? I don't have a button that I can press to make that go away. There we go. Thank you. Nope, just cancel. Nope, cancel. Please cancel. All right. Okay. We're good. All right. All right. Luckily, there we go. One more. There we go. One more. Okay. So, running activities, you can imagine recording your activity. How about recording your inactivity? This wants to know how well you've been sleeping, and that's an important aspect of your health. So it's going to monitor how well you've been sleeping and actually giving you a display of that. Then, of course, there's what you're eating, and there's Tweet What You Eat. This is a tool to help share with others what you're about to put in your mouth. And again, this starts to border on, well, a little bit of the banal, right? You wonder, why would anybody want to know what I'm eating? But it really is about creating these groups of solidarity that help you overcome temptation and maintain your resolve. It turns out that the number one criteria that tells you whether or not you're going to succeed is, are you surrounded by other people who are going to support you in that quest? And recent research, there's the book by Christakis and Fowler. They wrote a book called Connected, came out last year, made a lot of noise, and it said essentially that people get fat together and people quit smoking together. In other words, if your friends are getting fatter, you're going to get fatter with them. And if your friends smoke, there's a good chance you'll smoke. And if your friends start to quit smoking, you might quit too. And so the interesting thing is that this got a lot of airplay in the press, and in the US, it said, your friends make you fat. And in Europe, the headline was, you make your friends fat. Kind of a difference. So here, another meal snap app. That one, actually, you take a picture of your food. The picture goes to essentially a group of humans somewhere on the internet. They look at the food. They tell you how much it's going to cost you in calories. Of course, there's Lose It, an iPhone app, very popular. The Lose It app tracks, using your phone, you tell it everything you're about to eat, and it's going to track all those calories for you. And you start to look at that next morsel of food and say, hey, wait a second, this is essentially quicken for your stomach. I don't want that extra piece of food, you might decide. So, and it keeps incredible amounts of records about what you're eating and how that's going. And let's see, that's also available on the Nokia, on the OV site. You can get this kind of an application, the Wellness Diary, keeping track of your every moment. This is an extension of something called experience sampling methodology, where you ask people how are they doing at random intervals. In the old days, there was a beeper. It would go off and they'd ask you how you feel. Those studies revealed a great deal about the everyday life, rather than the kinds of things that you might remember an hour or two later. These were the things that you could actually grab out of people's experience in the flow of things. One of the great findings of experience sampling methodology is that when you're watching TV, you're unhappy, but when you stop watching TV, you're more unhappy. And so people keep watching TV because they'd like to not be even more unhappy. Here are the Well apps. These are folks who are creating essentially the kinds of more specialized applications. This is for just people who have GI tract issues. These are the folks, and they have these for a variety of maladies. What are you eating? How are you feeling? And it's a way of tracking. The tracking is really the payoff, the tracking that allows you to realize that there are correlations between wellness and behavior that are otherwise very difficult to perceive because we, myself, you, we're terrible at keeping track of our own behavior. If I ask you what you had for lunch last Tuesday, can anybody really accurately recall that? And yet if you took your picture of the food, that would be just a simple web search. You would go back and find yesterday's lunch. And so this is a way of capturing very, very specific details. A great story was the work of a researcher at Microsoft, Lindsay Williams, who sadly suffered from migraines. She built one of these things about 8, 9 years ago before they were available and discovered that 3 days in a row of almost no moving from the keyboard, that was the trigger for the migraine. Her doctors were talking about drilling holes in her skull. So, you know, maybe getting up from the keyboard was the better way. So, this is the scale that tweets your weight. I think that a great business model would be if you put money in it, it won't. That would be a good business model. And let's see. Oh, this is body key. I think we saw something like this. This is the one you take to the bathroom, and you urinate on it. And then it tells you all about your body chemistry. These are for the people who do not have the high-quality toilets. And then I just want to leave you with a couple of points about how these earlier, the ones you've just seen, those are relatively marginal. This is Google getting into the health business. Google would like you to tell it all about your last blood test. They would like you to tell it about all of your medications and prescriptions. And they're not the only one, right? This is Microsoft's Health Vault. They would like you to do the same thing. And it makes sense, and it's also terrifying to imagine that at one point in the future, after we've seen for the last many years, there are data spills. There are essentially the Exxon Valdez of data, where we spill data out onto the internet. And anybody who has kids playing PlayStation knows that your credit card has just been hacked. 25 million credit card numbers were hemorrhaged from the Sony system. I have concerns about what happens when all of my medical records are in such a system. So, last but not least, there are these services. Cure Together, and I believe we've got Patients Like Me. These systems both take the idea that if you suffer from a condition, that the number one source of good actionable information about your condition is not your medical practitioner. It's somebody else who suffers from your condition. And these people have actually been aggregating information about what medications are they taking and what's working and what's not, and they're actually coming up with insights on treatments that were not available in the medical literature. So a good example of what happens on the plus side when you share your data with others. So that's the tension, that you do want to share your data, it's just that there are problems with that. So I said the word gamification. I just want to leave that at the end here because this is, of course, badges from Foursquare. If you use Foursquare on your phone, and of course now Facebook's in it and Google's in it, but Foursquare had the great innovation that if you do certain things, and only if you do certain things, they will unlock a badge. A badge. This complies with my belief that it is better to pay people in pixels than in pennies. If you had been paid, it couldn't possibly be enough money to motivate you, but for whatever reason, people really like unlocking the badges. One of the badges could be, are you engaging in the wellness behaviors that you need to keep yourself well, especially between the spa sessions? What could you do to keep people feeling like, if I do the yoga, I get the sun salute badge. If I do the healthy eating, I get the looking good badge. These are the things that may motivate people because, well, this badge system, the status markers, that's part of our society. We do like earning markers of status. And so think about the connections between the machines that are watching us and the people who are watching what the machines see, and our desire to have status in the face of our peers, and you see a little bit about where the future is taking us. So with that, thanks. See you tomorrow.